Good evening to one and all. Welcome to the online workshop on the power of play therapy hosted by EDVISHAN. I'm honored to stand before you as the founder and CEO of EDVISHAN. I'm Dr. Shanoli Ray, along with my co-founder, Dr. Vikrant Singhal. EDVISHAN is a platform dedicated to revolutionizing education through innovation and empowerment. Today, we have the privilege of learning from a distinguished expert in the field, Mrs. Anshu Dua, whose wealth of experience brings invaluable insights into the transformative potential of play therapy. As we embark on this journey of discovery, let us embrace the power of play as a tool for healing, growth, and empowerment. Let us open our minds to new perspectives and let the wisdom shared today inspire us to create nurturing environments where every individual can thrive. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Mrs. Anshu Dua for leading this workshop and to each one of you for your commitment to the advancement of education. Together, let's set out the boundless potential of play therapy and pave the way for a brighter, more inclusive future. So thank you all, and let's not waste any more time and the workshop begin. Welcome, Mrs. Anshu Dua, to EDVISHAN platform.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shinoli. And thank you each and every one of you who has joined up on a Sunday evening. Working professionals giving out their Sunday evenings is a true dedication to learning and empowerment. So I'll just share my screen. Please, if you allow me to do that.
Is it not allowed? No. Yes, I think you can.
I think it's not done yet.
Not done yet, but it's showing. Check out.
Yeah, it's there. Thank you. Yeah. So I'm completely grateful for this opportunity. And when I looked at power of play therapy as the key takeaway from this workshop, I thought, why not? Because everything around us is actually play. Yeah. So this is going to be such an interesting thing to talk about. So before we begin, I want to just ask you these two questions. Are you suffering from any kind of mental stress? And are you happy with your child's lifestyle? It may be the learners at school. It may be your own kids. Please share your insights. Please share your insights. You'll have to do it.
It is work stress for me. It is work stress, and coming after home, I have to do certain kind of household work. That is over stress, I can say.
Overstressed. Yes. So the new therapy that has come up now with lot of research, and there is a white paper that has been taken out for the benefit of people in education, be it teachers or be it students, is that they have started to say as a prescription, please use play. And this is a white paper which has recently been launched. And of course, it is going to be now talked about. And very clearly, they say that if there is a problem of stress, there is a problem of not learning, problem of learning gaps, problem of the lifestyle, please empower that person with the therapy of play. And before we move on to understand therapy of play, please have a look at this little video wherein there's a very old game. We used to play it when we were very young. Yeah, little children, which is called Chidiya Ud in Hindi. And does it fly? We've translated it in English. Right? So let's see how we play this game. So we have to keep our fingers, right? And once we keep our fingers down, there's going to be a leader. So I be the leader. And I will request all of you to please, put your fingers like this. And let's put our fingers like this. I will give you some names, okay? Nouns. If that can fly, you will raise your finger. If it doesn't, you'll have to put it down here again. So it's going to be there. You're not going to lift it up. Okay? So are you all ready? I'll just stop share so that I can see. Lavanya, I think I can't hear you well. So okay, so let's start. How many people are coming on video for this game? Let's see. It's about play. It's about play therapy. We have to be there. Come on.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So Anshu Ud. Okay. Elephant Ud. Peacock Ud. Yes, Lindy Ram. Okay. A few were still left. Okay. Aeroplane Ud. Okay. Mobile Ud. Taj Mahal Ud. Computer Ud. Swati Ud. Jadeep Ud. Cuckoo Ud. Yeah. Parrot Ud. Now you can use this game for anything, for all the nouns that you want to describe. I think Lavanya wants to say something. We need to hear out what she's trying to say. Lavanya, want to say something?
Your voice is cracking.
Is my voice cracking for everyone?
No, not your. I'm talking about Lavanya. I think she's trying to tell something which is not audible.
Yeah, she is not audible. Yeah, that's right. Lavanya, if you can write it in the chat box, I think someone can read that out for us. Yeah. So this is that's something which we can start with as a game in the classrooms when children come, and there could be many different variations to this game. Now, the point is not that I had to just tell you about the game. There was something else that I had to talk about, and that I'll share it again, my screen. Let's really understand why this game would have been created. What would have been the reason to create this game?
Focus. Ma'am, to identify what are the living things and who can fly, and what are the things they can differentiate.
Okay, so there is differentiation.
Yeah.
To be focused and concentrating.
Focus and concentration. Okay, nice.
To know about the objects which fly and which don't fly.
Okay, so that means you're sorting.
Yes,
There's some
sorting.
kind of cognitive learning happening.
Yes.
Yeah, very nice.
Mindfulness.
Mindfulness.
To make them ease
Talking
by
about
learning.
refreshing mind, listening skills, listening carefully. Okay. So, and how would it benefit the development of children? How would this game benefit the development of children?
Joyful learning.
A very joyful learning. And it can be extended in various forms. It is not one subject. It is not one concept. You can do it with numerous things, right? Therefore, the extension in the brain happens for learning. So if I just list down the things that this game could develop in the children, there were huge number of things. Yeah, so play actually looks at huge number of social skills about regulation of emotions, about verbal, non-verbal, about diversity of thought, about leadership, which somehow we are trying to miss out when we are just talking about our subjects and our concepts, right? So play takes, or a game takes things beyond that structure. Also, I would love to talk about the domains of development. So when you're looking at the subject teaching in the schools or at home, there are majorly, these are the domains of development. If I look at play, or if I look at a game, language and literacy is always there. Yeah, like someone just said, you can use it for vocabulary. There is cognitive. That means you are understanding the world around, like we did Chidiyaur. So they were sorting. We were understanding what are the names, what are they used for? Do they have the ability to fly or they cannot fly? Right? We are looking at creativity. How creativity? Because we are looking at transferring the knowledge through in a creative manner. There was physical motor. There was some kind of leadership happening. There was some kind of sitting happening. There was some kind of circle happening. There was looking around. They were listening actively. The leader was looking at who's making a mistake, right? So there was a lot of physical motor and social emotional structure. And the spiritual aspect, which the subjects are not able to take care of. Now NEP has started to talk about social emotional well-being being the pivot of learning for every classroom. But if we look at a game, children don't feel bad when they lose. Children don't feel bad when they have to be the followers. Yeah, because everyone will take a turn. So somehow there is a lot of spiritual learning that happens and development that happens there. So senses being involved during play, children are using all their senses and improving on all their developmental domains. That is social, physical, language, intellectual, creative, and emotional. And if we try to really understand, when we were using Chidiyaur, there was a stage. Children were working in a group. We have to understand as educators, as parents, as caretakers, as adults, that how does a child actually move into social play? What happens? What is the kind of journey that the child takes through social play? So a very small video which will give you an insight into the stages of play.
Social skills play a large role in sense of well-being and in school success. Mildred Parton documented that children go through consistent and progressive stages of social play. Knowledge of the stages of social play can inform intervention planning. The first stage is unoccupied and is represented by the seemingly random movements of an infant. In the second stage, solitary play, children play alone and do not attempt to engage with others. During the third stage, onlooker, children watch others but do not try to join in the play. In the fourth stage, parallel play, children play side by side and may use the same materials but do not play together. In associative play, the fifth stage, children may play together but do not show extended collaboration. In the final stage, children collaboratively develop complex play activities.
Yeah, so I wanted to share this for a particular reason. Many a times parents, get very overwhelmed that our children are not sharing things. They don't give away things. But we have to understand that there is a process of development. We have to look at all the stages of play. And only once they're very comfortable with the social environment and a lot of exposure has happened, that they come to an understanding of building a trust. And that's how play actually takes into cooperative play. Moving forward. why this still stopped. Yeah. So when we look at into the structure of problems that happen with children is that in spite of play happening there or communication happening there, children looking at play for creativeness and socialization, it might happen that the child's behavior is very aggressive or chaotic or hyperactive and sometimes even withdrawn or problematic on a regular basis. If it is happening sometimes, it's okay. But if it is happening on a regular basis, we really need to diagnose and figure out why these things are happening during play. And one of the major reasons that we have to look at is the number of hours that today's children are spending in play environment. If weigh the academics and play, in the years in our childhood, we used to play a lot. There was all kind of play happening. There was solitaire play, there was cooperative play, there was so much happening, so much talking and communication happening. Even cooking was a play, gardening was a play because there was no pressure on anything. Yeah, there was no tension. There was nothing which was regarded as a task to be completed. That stress was not there. But if we now weigh the number of hours a child is spending sitting in a school and then going out to tuitions and going out to classes, the number of hours that the child is being exposed to play has reduced a lot, and this is worldwide. A report recently in the UK talked about the reduction being done to somewhere around 54%, right? So that's the kind of problem that is happening. And while the children are sitting in the classes or while they are being given activity, this is something which is happening. Please, these are the red alerts for you as adults. If you're talking to your child and saying, do not talk, do not climb, do not run, do not jump, you will get hurt, you will fall, you will be left out. We are already talking about all the negative senses of exploring the joy of play. So if you're not giving them that opportunity to try and fail and redo it again, that's what play is all about. Then our children are definitely into a stress environment and they will not give a trial to failure concepts. And this is something which I learned while my son was growing up, and I figured out that he was very very particular about being the best at the very first time. He was not trying to fail ever, and therefore he took himself away from many things that would have been better for his life. So then I started to understand, I looked at this and then I started to, put things around in a manner where the chances of failure, the stress of failure were reduced, and he went out to try out new things. So when we are talking about our children's lifestyle, we also have to look at that there might be some emotional dimensions of anger, fear, sadness, boredom, frustration, anxiety, disappointment. Why are they coming? Because we are not letting them play in a very safe environment. We're trying, failing, retrying, and then succeeding and becoming a better version for themselves or thinking creatively to do different things is something we are not allowing them to do. We are wanting the perfect child. We are comparing them to be the perfect ones, to be the best. And therefore, we are leading them to a non-playful environment. And there have been patterns which have been observed in this data relation to effects of anger, fear, sadness, and boredom. And it has been found that there has been the positive response to learning environment has become low because of these negative aspects. So there is something which is called pattern recognition, very important for understanding play therapy. The brain learns through patterns. Like when I said, what is this game talking about? The very first response was, they are sorting it out. So how does a brain does this? This understanding is by the sorting structure, looking at faces, music, words, and putting them into categories. Yeah, that happens through pattern recognition. Also, if you are doing some kind of using some kind of a play therapy or want to use some kind of play therapy, you will have to look at the pattern in which a child responds to different stimuli. So, to give you an understanding that in pattern, this is not something which you are going to teach from outside. It is through life's patterns that children understand. It is very innate to the brain. Only the sensory stimulus can create that pattern. While the pattern is being done, it is categorically stored information. Faces are very patternly recognized, words are recognized, and music is recognized. So if you want to turn around the stress and the anxiety into a better form, if you want to do learning in a little better form, please use lot of visuals, lot of music, and good connects with people. Good relationships is the key for learning to happen. So I just wanted you to look at this video once and see what's happening. I just see if I can. What is your take on pattern recognition on this?
The boy thinks
think
it's
is
a
happening?
road, like for him. It's a road and he's moving his car again and again. Wherever they find the slope, they will just move their car.
Yeah, because it
Because
is
my son does
like,
this again and again.
wow, great. So there is a pattern, right? They're understanding that there is a movement with the wheels that will happen, right? Something is going to fall down when there is a slope. And this pattern, the child is trying on a piece of a cloth, which he could see that it is flowing. So no one told him that, but he tried it. And through this play, he is making more cognitive knowledge or cognitive learning deepened for himself. But let's say if this play is happening and there is a parent who comes in and gives him a slap. Someone comes out and scolds him. What will happen? Because this is a place, it's a public place. Something is happening and we want a child to be the best. We want that he should be looked at as the most well-mannered child out there. Isn't it? Yeah?
Yes.
Yes. So here is what again, that's the red mark up going up. That if there is play associated, enjoy that play with the child. Yeah, because no significant learning can happen without significant relationships. And all learning is understanding relationships, and kids don't learn from people they don't like. Right? So if you have to be that teacher who wants the children to learn, if you want to be that parent who wants learning to happen, if you want to be that adult, that grandparent, that aunt, that uncle who wants learning to happen, please develop beautiful relationships with kids, because if they love you, you've got that concept of making a communication bridge developed with them, then you can transfer the knowledge, you can move that knowledge into their areas of learning, right? So help connect children with patterns. And as we move on and we understand learning, I want to know, what meals did you eat in the last week? Quickly. You've experienced that. You must be remembering that.
Excuse me, I'm really sorry to interrupt you, ma'am. But there are a lot of teachers who are on the waiting. They're not able to log in. They're not able to come to the webinar. They're into the waiting.
Yeah, I have already messaged in the group. Now we have reached the maximum capacity. Then we will have another session or today or tomorrow for them. Those who couldn't join now, because people are still they're making payments for certificate and want to join. So we have to
We can have one
another
more session, not to worry.
Okay, thank you.
Tomorrow or day after tomorrow, they're discussing with ma'am. We will do another session.
Thank you, Ida ma'am, for putting this. Okay, so quickly, you've got more than the required time. What meals did you eat in the last week?
We have
Breakfast, lunch, dinner,
Dal
breakfast, lunch,
rice.
dinner, breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Snacks. Do you remember
Dal,
everything?
rice, roti, sabji, poha,
Do you remember
upma,
which dal, which sabji in
tur
the
dal,
morning,
moong
in the
dal.
night,
You have to spend time to recollect.
and still you might not recollect.
Yes.
You might not recollect what happened 3 days back, right? Because
Correct.
the brain works in a manner in which you might say there was an experience, but the moment that experience gives is closed. That means if the task is closed, it is taken away from the memory, right? So if you want deepened learning through play, you can do that again and again and again and then extend it so that your newer learning means, what does new learning mean? New learning means new memory pockets in the brain, right? And memory pockets in the brain can easily be created if there is already existing pocket and you extend that learning and create a new pocket. And then there is the extension, the web of neurons which start to work. So play helps you remember that. If I would have asked you, had you been into some kind of picnic, and what was the meal there? Was
That
there a kitty party? What kind of meal was there? What snacks did you have? Right? Was there a travel? Did you prepare something? Even if it was 15 days back, you would remember that. Right? Because here it's a deepened learning. You are actually looking at the social, spiritual learning and the emotional learning coming in connect to make a deepened learning. And that is what play does to children. Okay, so when you are looking at the model, so this is what I really wanted to showcase you. See, because you are all educators, it is very important for you that you are driving a car for a child, the learning car for a child. So you must also know how the engine of that car works, right? You are already dealing with completely with the brain, the mind, and the heart of the child. So you must also understand how this mind and how the heart of a child actually works for you to be effective, doers of this job. So whenever a child gets in stimuli, it goes, I said, it's from the senses that you get it. If the senses are taken care by the brain, is an attention paid, then it goes into a memory, a short-term memory. If there is no attention paid, it is forgotten. How many times it happens that children in the class are speaking to you, ma'am, my notebook is not there. Ma'am, may I go up? Do you remember how many children go out of the classroom each day? You don't. Do you hear it? You do hear it, but you're not paying attention to note it down how many children went out of the class today. So it's forgotten, right? Now, after the sensory memory, there is some attention if paid, it will go into the short-term memory. Ma'am, my book is lost. Oh, this is an attention. It goes into the short-term memory. If it is solved, then and there, it might be forgotten. But if there is some huge structure of learning that happens there, if there is a huge emotional connect that's happening there, it will be encoded and will go into the long-term memory. So whatever you want to retrieve from children, you have to make it be encodable and make it go into the long-term memory. And that's what play does. Play becomes that anecdote for stress. Without the stress, this long-term memory can be taken care of, and most of the things can be put in there. And that's, the structure that you will have to follow, because when children don't learn, they need some kind of therapeutic characteristics. They need child-centered play therapy, where again, it is not about the concept, it's all about the child. The focus has to be the child. And please understand that if there is a lot of stress, many people say, no, they've started to forget things, they don't remember new things. Yeah, if there is a lot of stress, they don't even remember sometimes names, what happened. And in huge stress, they don't even remember what happened in the incident that brought stress. It does happen. Why? Because there are tangles of feeling and impulses, and the neurons make a bundle in which they do not respond. If you try play, if you try music, if you try a walk, if you try some therapy, if you try some brain gym, that stress is removed and that unraveling happens, and therefore play activates the modification of past experiences and innovates new coping strategy. Therefore plays that activity for making the disbelief suspension and belief is extended. And also in the dictionary, if we look at play, the common symptoms of play are fun, game, jest, sport. And these words actually mean action or speech that provides amusement or arouses laughter. Now, when I'm talking about laughter, I would like you to laugh a little. Come on, let's do that. Let's do that, everyone. There is stress. You're already there for 30 minutes listening to someone. It's already a lot of stress. Please be careful about your neuron structure. Be careful about your brain. Be careful about your heart. Let's do it. Come on, for 2 minutes. Think of a joke if you can't laugh like that. Please think of something very funny that happened. Okay. Did you experience a change?
Yeah, feeling lighter.
Yeah, you're feeling lighter. Yeah. So if you have now connected with the distraction of the brain, you have distracted the brain to something else. You've experienced the pleasure. You've given out positive energy. Your metabolism will be now good. Yeah, because it is not about just the brain. The moment the stress levels will rise, the metabolism will go bad. Right? They're going to be either you will feel like, flying away from there, moving away from the situation, or you will do down. And that's what we have to also understand while teaching. We want our children we want our children to actually listen to us for 35 minutes. This is something which you'll all have to understand. There is a child sitting in a class since 8 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon. Only one break, one period of games maybe where the child can go out for music or something. There is a teacher who comes into the class, 35 minutes, goes out. Another teacher comes in, 35 minutes, goes out. Another teacher comes in, 35 minutes, goes. The child is sitting there because every time that there is a change of a teacher, she says, okay, quiet now, over. Let's start the work. 35 minutes you've been listening to me, right? For a concept that you wanted to come because you've registered for it. That means there was willingness for you to come to this lecture, to this webinar, right? Look at a child who doesn't even know why he's studying. Why he's studying all these subjects, why he's studying story, why he's doing sums, why he's asked to talk about EVS. Why? He doesn't have the logic. What will he do after all this study? And there are teachers who are just coming in and coming out, coming in and coming out. There is no respite for the child's brain, and then it goes down. And after that, because there is a frustration for us, we start to frustrate them and their brains and their hearts with our beautiful words. You can't do it. You're good for nothing. Again, you've forgotten that. Why didn't you listen? How many times will I tell you? Wow. Now just imagine what the neurosciences would be doing there. What would happen to my brain? What would happen to my heart? Therefore, please, we'll have to bring play into the structure, no matter what. Play is going to be the savior for you and for your students both. And believe me, I've tried this. And also as teachers, please look at the cultural differences of your classrooms. Because even if you talk to them about play, if you talk to them about art, drama, there are going to be cultural differences. There are going to be some children who come from backgrounds which have huge number of people in the family. They would not be shy. They might just go out and talk. And there would be some children who are coming from maybe single parent families, maybe have had stress, Maybe the belief systems are different. In some families, maybe girls are not allowed to talk so much. They're not allowed to wear some kinds of clothes. So when you are looking at play, even their plays would be different. Even their languages would be different. The way they speak, their behavior, their attitudes, everything would be different. And we have to be very, very kind enough to look into it, not because just we have to finish our syllabuses, but also because we have to turn around to make our syllabuses play oriented. A very important slide, if you want to take a pic of it, please do take the different kinds of play that
Will you be
happen.
sharing this PowerPoint with us?
Yeah, I'll share this with you so you can do. Right, so free play. What happens is like mostly we've thought, and psychologists did think that if you allow a child to do a free play, there's going to be huge learning. That means don't interrupt the child at all. The child is active, the teacher is passive, or the adult is passive. The child is just doing things at his own, exploring, discovery. Then there was another kind of play, scaffolded guided play. So there are things, there are toys kept out. Oh, wow, you've got an elephant. What do you think you are going to do there? Oh, you created a jungle scene. Which animals do you think we should bring in? You as an adult, you are active, but you're not taking charge of the play. You're only guiding, scaffolding the play for a child. The third type of play, which is a direct instruction, rule-based games. Let's play snake and ladder. Let's have some circle time, right? So there are very rule-based games. I want you to create flashcards and then create me some words which have the sound. I want you to create an airplane with this particular paper. So something which is very direct, instructional, rule-based structure. And the last category wherein both of them are passive is my maturation, my rest area, where whatever has happened, it is working inside me and I'm gathering whatever happened through the play. Now, in all these ones, which is the one that you experience with your children the most? Discovery free play, scaffolded guided play, direct instruction rule-based play, or maturation? Let's take away maturation rest. Let's put that out. Out of the three, which ones do you experience the most with your children?
We sail through all three of them, madam. Discovery, scaffolding, direct instruction. But as the age increases, we go to direct instruction, rule-based games. And when the child is younger, scaffolding or guided play. Very rarely we allow free play.
Very rarely we allow. What about a child who is like maybe 4 years, 6 years, 7 years? If someone can give me.
It is scaffolding guided play. We are afraid that the child may fall or may get injured or something. So always it is take care, that kind of.
So now there is a little structure that we have to understand. Scaffolded guided play is not about holding the hand of a child. That means you have taken over the play. If you are kind of holding a child to do and think things, that means you have disrupted the play. Now the play is not happening. There is only instruction which is happening. If you are allowing the child to think and make a decision for himself, he is the one who is taking initiation. You are only there, right? I'm there. Okay, what happened if this will happen? Then we will look at it. If you're just there, then it is a scaffolded guided learning. And there is a spectrum of play. This spectrum has been taken like the autism spectrum. This talks about that there is free play, there is directed play, which go to the lowest. Games and guided play take up the highest of the learning spectrum. That means if you are doing guided, wherein you're asking, and I have a gentleman with me, Mrunal, who has been doing a lot of guided and games. The guided structure he's been really taking care of, right? I'll introduce him at the end. He knows that if I am initiating a child a lot, what will you do now? How do you think we can do this? How do you think we can come up with a solution? What is the game rule that you will play? Can you create something? That means you are looking into an area where the initiation is the child's initiation, not the adult's initiation. Yeah, so we'll have to talk about something. Now, he's my uncle, and I've seen him taking snakes and ladders everywhere he goes and making friends. Though he is quite old, but he has made great friends because of this game, right? I want you to come up with some innovative snakes and ladders. If I give you a snakes and ladders, what innovation would you create in this board game?
We can go
Maybe
with the
in
side words of snakes and ladders.
Yeah, Silky is saying something. Yeah.
I'm saying we can go with the sight words of snakes and ladders.
The sight words of snakes and ladders. Okay. So that's a conceptual. So you can say, yeah, I can make a conceptual change. Instead of numbers, we can also add some concept to it. But the snakes and ladders remain the same.
Yes.
Could be some other way. So this is one
maybe
thing.
in the frontal side in the snake and ladder, we can even say the numbers like for in a maths way, that we can do a skip counting of 2s, 3s, like move 2 in front, like skip countings by 2s, 3s, 5, 10,
Yeah.
like that.
Yes. Very nice. We can go down from 100 to 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Backward counting
I'm
descending
seeing this in the
order.
chat right now. Wonderful. Yeah. Yeah, Krishna,
Backward counting
you're right.
can be introduced.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Backward counting can also be introduced in this manner.
I
Ascending,
have Natasha
descending
here.
concept.
Yes.
So you're
Yes,
talking
please, ma'am.
about snakes and ladder. I have a game of snakes and ladder made on health and hygiene. So yeah, if somebody does not take a bath and lands up on number 24, the snake bites and it has to go down. So similarly, so it's a snake, and if you have done something nice, then you climb up,
Okay.
in terms of health and hygiene. So it can go to various extents, the
Thanks,
game.
Natasha. You have, unveiled your presence there. I was about to introduce you. She is a storyteller, so I wanted to introduce the moment I was talking about stories, but it's okay. Thank you so much. We are looking at concepts, right? Now, if you look into the spectrum of snakes and ladders, the spectrum of snakes and ladders, free play, guided play, games, and direct instructions. How can you change one snake and ladder into the middle spectrum? What will you do? That means you want to have a guided play. Yes, Shifali, play it with different set of rules, wherein the snakes tail takes up and the ladders bring down. Very nice. Thank you. How would you do the guided? I want you to think about guiding children into snakes and ladders. Can you ask them to do some drawing and create a different snakes and ladders? It's very simple. Actually, it's a very simple thing. If you ask your children, I want you to create a snakes and ladders game, you have to draw the board game, right? And it should look very different from what we have been looking at. And you will come up with amazing results. Try this out this time. Okay. So look into that snakes and ladders structure from the innovative aspect. And now comes the part of storytelling. So use stories to have the learning happen. Because when you're looking at stories, and I will share the screen with you, so of course you can talk about, I wanted Natasha to come on and add something about this. So something about dopamine and something about neural coupling and mirroring. So Natasha, if you can just please add on a few bites of your knowledge here, because you come from a background of storytelling.
Um,
Okay, so this is Satin. So basically, storytelling involves a lot of emotional this thing. It creates an emotional connect with the children when we are doing, telling them stories, and it takes them to a world of imagination where like there is no boundaries, no ends. So a lot of thinking goes on, and with interactive storytelling, when we involve the child into the play and into the storytelling domain while we are narrating a story. So as a storyteller, it's fun to watch the results. It's really amazing when they come up with their insights and in their viewpoints. It's really amazing.
And something which, thank you, Natasha, and something which really, made me think about it was the neural coupling and the mirroring. Because when you look at this coupling effect, actually the activation of the part of the brain that is allowing the listener to turn the tale into their own ideas and experiences. This is what I think she was talking about, imagination. And mirroring is you can experience the brain activity with each other during storytelling. Similar brain activity has been experienced in the MRIs. So if I want to teach a value to a child, if I want my child to take up some routines, a little storytelling session can really help that child to do that instead of scolding or instead of, talking about things. And this is Natasha working out with a lot of students. Show and tell, role plays, dramas, and assembly corners must become a part of your curriculum. And there is a website by the name of Tools of the Mind. Please go and watch this, Tools of the Mind. It talks about giving tools to children through role play and storytelling. And the teachers are also called the teachers with tools. The students are also called students with tools. You will get great ideas about teaching through play in this area. Music, a very, very amazing thing to talk about. You must include music as a part of your play. And when we are talking about music, it is not about let's play, having a guitar or having a proper instrument. It's just about conscious awareness. So if you feel that the child is disturbed, if you feel that something has gone bad, just taking a child to a corner, just sitting for 2 minutes and listening to the voices in the nature. Maybe, oh, the car is honking so much. This is a distraction to the brain. Okay, this is conscious awareness. Ah, I can hear the birds sing. You don't have to tell the child, you don't have to counsel the child directly. You have to use it through the structure of play. And then using sand trays. I loved something very beautiful with the sand tray structures, which was given by Margaret Lawnfield back in 1920s, using of two trays, a wet tray and a dry tray, because the tactile activity in both the trays is going to be different. And while doing a therapy, not teaching, while doing a therapy, as a facilitator, there are something which they do is they use some objects, and there are a huge number of objects for the therapist. They ask the child to use these objects, and which one the objects the child is connected with, the child is going to put them in the tray and put some sand over it and slowly start to unravel them. It helps any adult to understand what is disturbing a child, right? There could be direct instructions like what catches show me what it is like to be a member of your family if you feel there are family disturbances, or simply asking them to create a world in the sand by taking any miniatures which catch their eye. Something which is in the brain is going to be something which they catch the eye, because we want to communicate, but somehow we're not able to communicate at all times with words, and therefore the therapy is required. So these are some more therapies, and a dot art therapy, wherein for every dot, they will say something. Clay, we all know when we are creating something, we are using our hands. It is very therapeutic. Making up worry dolls. I really found this activity very beautiful, which you can do at any stage. You have these little, wind-ups. You ask them to create a worry doll, right? And they have a small box with them. At night, they will put all their worries to one. So one worry, one doll, one worry, one doll, and they put them into the box. And now the worry goes to the dolls and they will take care of them and they can sleep tight. Yeah. So you're giving self-regulation, yeah, through the play. And here is Mrinal working with children. Mrinal, if you could please come in for a moment and talk about a little about how Sunday Bricks has helped children. If you're there. Mrinal, can you please unmute yourself? Mrinal is running Sunday Bricks in Mumbai. He is a Lego master. He's working a lot with children. Yeah, you just saying a hi. We will connect later. And I think he's been the one who has transformed the lives of many children through play. He has made them think creatively, cognitively, and I wanted him to be here to say a word if he can unmute himself. You aren't able to do that. Okay, so definitely you please share your reviews. So this is something which you can do in your classrooms. Connect your academics with the play. So in the very beginning, I had shown you a slide where the play time is decreasing, right? We have to kind of build in academics through play. Use a lot of flashcards on the floor, walls, corners, make it print ready with play, manipulatives, do sports, races with your concepts, create field visits, talk interviews, nukkad nataks, all that can be becoming a play therapy for your children. Then you can teach, evaluate, even fill the learning gaps through play. Sometimes it happens, many schools talk about activity rooms outside the classroom. You have to bring the activity rooms inside the classroom, because while the activity is being done, it has to be designed in a manner that you're teaching through it. You are even evaluating your children through that, and you're filling the learning gaps if you find that, right? So let's say if there is an activity of a mandala, it's just not an art activity. You can talk about time, you can talk about fractions, you can talk about, making patterns, and you can talk about food. You can talk about so many different things just through a mandala. Have loose parts. Lot of children can bring in lot of loose parts from their house. They create a corner for themselves wherein they can touch, feel, dismantle, and restructure. You need not spend on great money on objects to buy, as complete games. Lot of loose parts can work because everything around you is a part whole or a whole part. Every problem in life is a whole which you have to divide into parts and you have to solve it, right? Every innovation is a type of a part whole or a whole part. So why not give that pattern to children to think through these loose parts? And of course, play is going to be very risky sometimes because it is adventurous. It is going to give you independence and problem solving. It boosts self-confidence, but it also, satisfy the natural need for challenge and thrill. Ooh, let's go for a drive. Let's go, wow. You have that thrill. Let's come down. Let's go adventure sports. Let's go and work out. Let's have party. What is all that? This is challenge and thrill. If you can bring that challenge and thrill into the monotonous classes through play, I think the risk and is going to be worth it. And make it very purposeful. See, everything is there on the internet, right? If you have the skills to use it properly, all knowledge is going to be there on Google. So jugaad, make it a way of their lives. Teach them things in a manner where you're bringing STEM together, you're teaching thinking skills, because rest, everything is available. So I think I have taken that time, and I cannot end it without naming two people, Arvind Gupta ji and Manish Jain ji, because these are the two people who have created toy-based learning in science and maths, and they have been loved and praised by people across the world. They have changed the paradigm of teaching, of learning. So make play the way of your classrooms, because that's what discovery, that's what smartness is. And believe me, when you talk about the 4C skills, you talk about the SEL skills, if you integrate play in your classroom, you don't have to think about rest anything. Yeah. So thank you so much. We can have a laugh quickly just before we end. I hope, I truly hope your time was worth spending, and I could make a little difference to the way you will be teaching in your classrooms.
Thank
Thank you.
you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Participants, if you want to share your feedback up to this session, definitely you can talk here, or else we will send the feedback form in the group. Okay. And it was really wonderful. I was also glued to the screen.
Yes, it was a continuous process where there was no full stop or comma or anything, and we were so engrossed in the class, and it was many things were new. So I'll just Google it and find out all those things. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, ma'am. It
As
was
I
wonderful.
said, everything is on Google.
Yes, thank you.
It's just there that we need to learn. Thank you so much for the wonderful responses. Purnima, your voice is not very clear.
Yes, something is asked, I think. I also couldn't
Thank you,
follow up.
ma'am. It was very helpful session for me.
Thank you, Gillian. Thank you for being so responsive, and you were always there with the answers. I know many of them were with their answers. It's not that,
Yes,
but
we received many answers of your questions and all in the chat.
Yeah,
I was
thank
just
you.
going through it.
Thank you so much.
thank you. If there are any questions, we can connect again. You can write those
Okay.
questions to Dr. Shinoli, and we can always look at it.
Okay, definitely, ma'am. Thank you.
Purnima, I think there's some noise at the back, or
Some other background.
yeah.
Okay, so I think we all have a wonderful session tonight. So let me wind up, and I'll have to have another session with Dr. Anshu for those who couldn't join. I'll have a talk to you right now. And
So
then-
there's one question that Ashwini is talking about the class management. Ashwini, I have designed some structures in which even a class of 40 or 45 can be well managed, and you can have 3 activities in 35 minutes. So if you would like to know, please connect. Yeah, on
Yes,
LinkedIn,
one
I'm there.
more,
So
one more
you
doubt,
can
madam.
connect.
Up to which class these play therapy you are talking about, till which class? Like I teach in the 11th and 12th. So there, how do we?
So recently we had it in a college for professors, and we wanted them to use stories as structures of teaching to their students.
We
If
do
you
tell-
look at management studies, they are all case studies. What do? It's a story.
So we also try to bring in scientist stories, their discoveries and all to make it more interesting. But
And
play,
for science, there
play,
is so much on the STEM area where you can really do great experiments, bring that out and have the discovery. See, the point is, Lini ma'am, and it's a sad point, that we have worked with science without even knowing what is the science structure of learning. We haven't explored, we haven't discovered, we have not experimented in our schools. Yeah, so we have to change that. Yeah. Thank you again, team, and thank you, my guests who were there to support and Thank you, everyone. Gratitude for joining in huge numbers. I think we'll see the others soon, very soon. Dr.
Okay. Thank you all. And let me wind up for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Shanoli madam.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a great
Thank
Sunday
you.
evening. Enjoy. Make play the way.
Bye, ma'am.